In my hometown, we don't swim. Not a single man, woman, or child knows even the faintest movement to remain buoyant in the water. Now, some of you might assume that this is because we're inland or not near to any bodies of water. I don't blame you for making this assumption. However, it's incorrect. No one in my hometown swims because from the moment we touch the water, we attract something. It comes mercilessly and without fail, stirring up the muddy waters of lakes, rivers, and oceans, hauling itself across the mud toward tents camped beside even the most peaceful lagoons. Even bathing is dangerous, for it's been known to snake its way through pipes. Now, of course, this sounds ridiculous. When my parents first told me, I outright laughed in their faces. It was probably the worst, most poorly thought up excuse for why I couldn't go swimming or have a shower longer than 3 minutes. At the time, however, I couldn't really go against their wishes, and I wasn't able to simply say, "You're lying," without then disagreeing, so until last night, I had never been swimming. You see, it's been years now since I left my hometown, and last night I got invited to a pool party, the first one I'd ever been to. I did mention that I couldn't swim, of course, though, negating the reason why I couldn't swim, and was reassured that I could stay in the shallow end, which is exactly what I did. The water was brilliant, temperate but not freezing, clean and generally nice to be in. A friend taught me to float on my back, and I found myself just happy to lay there in the water with my eyes closed. And then I felt something brush against my legs so lightly I could barely tell it was there at all. For a moment I remembered the story my parents had told me, but dismissed the idea, assuming rationally that perhaps another swimmer had just moved past me. Upon opening my eyes, I saw that no one was around me. In fact, I drifted to the deeper end of the pool. I felt a rush of panic as I realized I couldn't touch the bottom anymore and struggled to stay calm enough to tread water or float. Now, let me tell you, I had thought that I was fine, that I was doing pretty okay keeping myself upright, and that I could make it to the edge, which was only a few feet away. But that's what drowning feels like. You take in a couple of accidental breaths of water. Your arms and legs feel heavy, but you still don't quite realize what's happening. How could it be happening when you're so close to safety? Nonetheless, within moments I was going under, and there was a pressure on my leg, but I barely noticed. From beneath the water, the muffled sound of music was reaching my ears, and the distorted lights from above were unbelievably pretty. Then a hand reached down and took hold of my arm, pulling me back to the surface. In a daze, I looked up to see a friend and another guy pulling me out of the water. Written on their faces was pure horror. I could see they were shouting as they dragged me over to the side of the pool, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see people running frantically, though I couldn't at first work out why everyone was so upset. When the last part of me was pulled from the water, my senses came back to me instantly, and like a balloon popping on glass, pain exploded up my body from my legs. On my left side, the pain originated from about midway up my calf muscle, while on the right side it came from about midway up my thigh. Sounds that had been subdued were now true and clear, and the sound of my own screaming was the loudest. I was in agony. How had I not felt this in the water? As I tried to sit up, others around me held me down, telling me to be still, though the grim expressions they wore only made me more desperate to see. Frantically, I struggled to see my legs. I had to know why they hurt so much. I should have listened when I was told not to look, for when I did, I saw that my right leg was stripped of flesh clean down to the bone. Not a strand of muscle, tendon, or nerve remained. The remaining bones were just barely held together at the joints. A couple of my toes I noticed had been entirely detached. The flesh at the halfway point up my thigh was torn viciously and soaked in blood, making it look like soggy fabric. My left leg wasn't in any better state, but at least it was only half down instead of the whole way. As someone tried to bandage my legs, I passed out. When I awoke, I was in hospital with 2 neatly wrapped stumps and a box of chocolates beside my bed. It was explained to me that while I was in the water, something had damaged my legs. Officials suspected some sort of barbed wire may have gotten wrapped around my legs and stripped the flesh when I was saved from drowning. And no such wire was actually found once the pool was drained. My friend told me that no one had noticed I was gone until blood started flooding the water, and then everyone scrambled to save me. What I believe happened is that whatever comes after the people in my hometown had attacked me, pulled me down and somehow numb my legs as it fed. Maybe that was what brushed against me. Maybe that was the pressure I'd felt. If my friends hadn't noticed me, I'm sure I would have died, either from drowning or bleeding out. What I can't work out now is how it got into the pool or why no one else seemed to have seen it. It just makes me wonder if it's something that's always in the water. All water, just invisible and selective.
Hey there. Thank you so much for taking the time to drop by and listen to this story today. It really means a lot to me. I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos, so it's nice to know that there's someone out there listening. Do me a little favor, would you? Click that like button, leave a comment, and if you really feel like it, why not subscribe too? Okay, happy tales everyone. See you soon.